Before all that, though, it's Gary Mason live from Wembley against the American Mark Wills. Mason once again trying to persuade the sceptics that he's got the ability to mount a serious challenge on Mike Tyson. Well, those that doubt point to his weight. 17 stone 10.5 when he fought Tyrell Biggs. He's lost just 4 pounds for tonight's fight. He's more than 2 stone heavier than Mark Wills, who was an impressive sparring partner for Frank Bruno. Any doubts in the Mason camp concern the fact that Gary picked this opponent himself.
I've chosen this opponent against Terry Lawless's better judgment. My belief is that this opponent is quite capable of knocking any heavyweight out, and that includes me or anybody else for that matter. And I'm on a flight of stairs now towards Mike Tyson, and if I am to go in to fight Mike Tyson with 100% belief in myself, I'll have to beat people like this on the way up there, and that's why I've chosen an opponent like this.
Not the first time we've said it, but it's another vital night for Gary Mason. Venue is the Grand Hall at Wembley, where we join Harry Carpenter.
And Wills, the American, already in the ring in this fight, sponsored by Thai Airways International. Wills, of course, has come with the intention here of leapfrogging himself into the top 10. Mason currently ranked number 6 in the world, and Wills down around number 20. So it's a big opportunity for the American. And he waits now for the entrance of the British fighter, Gary Mason. Well, as you've already heard, a huge disparity in the weights between these two, and Mason will have just over 2 stones advantage, and that's a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, National Promotions are proud to present International Heavyweight Boxing, sponsored by Thai Airways International, in the principal contest of the evening. 10 rounds, 3 minutes each round of boxing, between and introducing to you in the blue corner, from Los Angeles, the United States of America, Mark Wills. And in the red corner, from Bournemouth, England, the British heavyweight champion, Gary Mason. At the weigh-in for the contest, Gary Mason scaled 17 stone, 6.5 pounds. Mark Wills, 15 stone, 5.5 pounds. Your referee is Mr. Adrian Morgan from Wales, and the timekeeper, Mr. Ray Rice. Thank you.
Mason, of course, trying tonight to protect a 100% winning record. 32 fights, 32 wins, and all but one of them have come inside the distance in 5 years as a pro. So a scheduled 10-rounder. Most people will be surprised if he gets that far.
Stand up.
Wills wearing the black trunks. And when I watched Wills working out with Frank Bruno in Arizona earlier this year, he struck me as the sort of man who was quite capable of taking heavy punches. He's been in twice with Tim Witherspoon, the former world champion, lost twice, of course, to him. And in August this year, Wills floored and outpointed the British fighter Derek Williams, who only last night won the vacant European heavyweight title in 55 seconds when he beat Trevor Hugh Roy Curry. That fight with Williams, by the way, was Wills' first fight for 11 months. So he hasn't exactly been active, apart from that work he did with Bruno. He hasn't been too active in the past 16 months, which compares very much with Mason, who seems to have been having a fight almost every month. Dangerous looking left hook from Mark Wills, who is alleged to be a slow starter. And Mason, of course, as we all know, has won a lot of fights very quickly. And an even more dangerous left hook from Mason. Wills is feeling the weight of Mason's punches, but so far he hasn't been shaken by them. Takes a deep breath, Wills. The gum shield is already red. These sledgehammer punches from Mason, all going in. From Mason at the end of the round. So that's quite an impressive opening round from Mason, who's come out to do his work as efficiently as he can. Mason, in fact, will be 27 next week. Impressive professional record, but of course, as always, the critics will say, well, so who's he beaten? And all you can say is, well, he's beaten everybody they've put in front of him, and that's all you can do. He has himself been known to say that I'll be ready for Mike Tyson early in 1991. Well, with Frank Bruno in Panto this Christmas, Mason must now be regarded as Britain's #1 until such time as Frank decides when or if he'll box again.
Stand up, round 2.
Mason has won 9 of his fights inside the first round. No, this isn't one of them. And Wills at the moment showing precisely the same resilience to these punches as he showed when he sparred with Bruno. The Welsh referee, Adrian Morgan, demonstrating to Wills to keep his punches up. Wills still plodding forward, despite the hammering blows coming at him. Wills is wearing a scowl of determination, but that was a big right from Mason, and Wills backs off. Wills, of course, has beaten Greg Page, the former WBA champion. Beat him in 9 rounds, floored him twice and cut him for stopping him. But was down himself against Page, Wills. He hasn't been down here yet, despite these savage punches that the British champion is firing. Well, 2 very one-sided rounds, and they've all been in Mason's favour, but this man Wills is still there and still anxious to come forward. And it is a big night for him, there's no doubt about that. If he could win this, it would do his reputation in the States no end of good. It's not a good record on paper, but you have to remember that a lot of the fights have been in pretty good class. People like Witherspoon and Page and other people that he's fought in the States, all good American heavyweights. He took an enormous right hand from Mason in that second round, and it was the first time he'd looked to be in some trouble. That was the one, and that actually made him back off. Tough man.
Round 3.
Mason saunters to the centre of the ring. Lives in Kent, in the Medway town of Walderslade, near Gillingham. And Wills about to hand out a little bit of his own medicine, just to see whether Mason can take it. Wills coming in with his head lowered, ducking a little bit too low at times. Ducking well below the waistline of Mason, and that's illegal. Well, there are no niceties of boxing about this. This is a trial of strength. Good left and right again from Mason, but Wills again takes it. Left hand was too low. And Wills makes the formal apology. Mason doing a little bit of shoving off with the left elbow. That's a mighty left hook counter from Wills, just after he'd taken 2 good punches himself. And manager Lawless may have been the better judge in not wanting Wills as an opponent for Mason. Very wisely got off the ropes. He was getting roughed up there. It's a pity if Adrian Morgan has to do something drastic about the low punching. That would be a terrible way to end. Mason was in a little trouble in that round. And, well, you heard him say for himself that he went against Lawless's advice in taking Wills. Let's just have another look at the way Wills came back with the left hand here after taking 2 good punches himself. That was the one. And that was a good punch, and later on, when Mason was on the ropes, he was again in a little bit of trouble. So he knows he's got a tough opponent now. He knows that he's thrown some of his best punches and the man hasn't gone down. So now, what are the plans?
Seconds up, round 4.
In the fight with Tyrell Biggs, the American, just 2 months ago, Mason was seemingly making quite a hard work of it, heavy weather of it, when suddenly he produced a right and left combination that dropped Biggs at the end of the 7th round for the full count. And those 2 punches came right out of the blue, just when he seemed to be really struggling. And Wills is looking more and more vicious with the left hook. It was a right and left hook that floored Derek Williams in August this year in New York. That's another good left hook. And Mason came back well from that. Wills is a little better at the inside work from Mason. Remember, Mason is 2 stone heavier, and that counts when you're hitting people as hard as this. This is a savage heavyweight fight, and it is a fight. It's not a boxing match. Looks as though he may have a little trouble with the right eye. Wills takes another deep breath. Mason keeps trying to find the one punch that'll drop his man to the floor, and he can't find it. And Mason takes a rather weary walk back to the corner, having done a lot of work for 4 rounds, and in a sense, not got too far. His right eye was looking quite puffy at one time, I thought, but he doesn't seem... No, I think he's okay. Well, these are critical moments for Gary Mason now. 27 next week. Winner of all his pro fights. And, of course, hoping against hope that within the next 18 months he might get a shot at the big one with Tyson. But that will be right out of the question if this one goes down. So these are critical moments in this man's career.
Seconds up, round 5.
And 2 quite punished men coming out for the 5th round. They've taken a lot of each other's stick. Who's going to be the first to crack? Mason's face beginning to look a little worse for wear. And Wills still looking very dangerous and still coming forward. And this crowd now sensing a major sensation here, whichever way it goes. And of course you're seeing it just as they are, as it happens. Mason's right eye, there is definitely something wrong there. He's beginning to touch it with his glove, and it's beginning to look quite swollen. And Wills' head rubbing into it isn't going to do it any good. Mason's still clubbing these hooked punches in, and this man's still soaking them up, and Mason takes a huge breath there, and the look on his face almost told you that he was thinking to himself, what have I got to do to this man to get him on the floor? Well, that was another good round for Mason in terms of punches landed, but again, he hasn't drawn the strength, seemingly anyway, out of Wills. And again, it seems to me that he is having a problem with the right eye, although when we go to it in close-up here in the corner, you don't really see anything. And yet he was touching it, and he clearly was worried about it. That's the one. And the ice pack goes on it. So there is obviously a swelling beginning there. You can see the ridge above the eyebrow. And the battered face of Wills, well, that's been battered in previous fights. And here's an Iron Man, if ever I've seen one.
Seconds up, round 6.
So we're halfway if it goes the full 10. Wills' performance here will give you some idea of how tough they breed him in the States. Here's a man who is not ranked among their top heavyweights, and yet, as you can see, can give anybody a hard fight. I don't know whether I'm mistaken, but I thought I might be seeing blood on Mason's left eye. There's so much sweat and water about, it's difficult to tell. Well, referee Avery Morgan went in to stop Wills there to caution him about the low punch, and he landed a punch as Morgan went in. And I can confirm for you that Mason is most definitely cut over the left eye. Sixth round. Mason badly needs a knockout or a stoppage now. Tremendously gutsy performance from Mason. It really is. And, of course, from Wills. He dredged one up there almost off the floor. What a tremendous battle between these two. But it gives you an idea of what British heavyweights have got to do if they want to get to the top in world class. Wills is very tired now, reaching out for the rope. Two thumping great punches from Mason, and he still can't put the man down. End of the sixth. Unbelievable resilience and resistance from Wills. And Terry Lawless now goes to work on the cut that has appeared above the left eye of the British heavyweight champion, Gary Mason. Again, desperate moments in that corner as Terry tries hard to close it. And Wills himself obviously feeling the effects of this battle, but still knowing he's got a chance of winning. That blob of grease on Mason's eye hasn't melted. By the time they come out, then I dare say Mr. Morgan might have it wiped off. This is the round in which Mason came up with the shock knockout against Tyrell Biggs 2 months ago. He badly needs a repeat. Well, this is certainly the hardest heavyweight encounter in this country since the Bruno Witherspoon world title fight. And that was back in '86. The Mason punches that swept so many men to quick defeat proved to be not so effective against this Iron Man from the States, Mark Wills. Oh, he's kept up an incredible ferocity from the first bell. Mason fires off pot shots at Biggs' head. Wills takes them and immediately comes back with a searing punch of his own. It really is torrid stuff. some fight. Mark Wills, 29, originally from Indiana. He had 2 fights with Tim Witherspoon. First one in LA in March '85. He was dropped in the first round, was almost put out, but he survived till the 9th round when it was stopped. And in the return with Witherspoon in Atlantic City in 1987, he was stopped in 75 seconds by Witherspoon. But again, Witherspoon didn't put him down in that fight. There are doubts expressed occasionally in American reports on his fights about his stamina. And these are the moments, the last 3 rounds, when we might get a clue as to whether those doubts are right. Mason's mouth looks damaged, as well as the left eye.
Round 8.
So 3 to go. Once in his career has Mason been as far as this, and that was the one fight he didn't end inside the distance when he got an 8-round points decision over the American Oscar Holman. Keep the jab going. That's the punch to keep Wills out. And it looks as though he might settle for the jab now, having failed to club his man to the floor. And if he can just keep that jab going, he can stop Wills doing any further damage. That's a pretty solid jab. Sonny Liston had a jab like that. I saw him knock men out with it. Definitely tiring. Hope those are not famous last words. A good round for Mason because he's kept the man away from him and totally out-jabbed him and outscored him all the way. Good round for Mason, and really that was exactly what was called for, because the way things were going, he couldn't afford to get into too much more trouble because the damage was beginning to mount up on his face and he didn't want the eye to get worse, and the mouth is damaged, so the tactics were right there. And he's got to go on doing that now for another 2 rounds. And that may well be what Terry Lawless has done. Yeah, jab and jab and jab. Those are the instructions.
Round 9.
well, this is as punching a fight. We shall see. Two big men, and remember, Wills is conceding 2 stone to the 17 stone 6.5 Mason. These are two big fellas punching their full weight and taking each other's best punches. And they've been doing it solidly for 8 rounds. And there hasn't been a knockdown between them.
Distance he's never been before.
Mason forgetting about the jab instructions and still trying to hook the man's head off. Turning by Mason on the ropes, got himself off there very neatly. And Mason now landing 3, 4, even 5 punches for every one he's taken. Mason's sheer strength and determination and his boxing ability has got him in command again. Into the 9th. Well, Mason really has had to pull it all out tonight. He had one quite bad patch when his eye was cut, and that clearly worried him. And at that point, Wills was still hitting him with some really solid punches. But I do think that Wills has tired a bit in the last 2 or 3 rounds, and he's not being allowed now to put together the punches that were worrying Mason earlier. Mason must be a fair way ahead. So, last 3 minutes, and if Mason can just keep his boxing tidy here and not do anything stupid, then I think he's going to get a win here, and it'll be a fully deserved one.
Stand up, 10th and last round.
Two good opponents, and full marks to Mark Wills for the way he stood up to Mason's very hard punching. He is a hard puncher. Well, it's do or die now by Mark Wills, as one would expect. He's got to try something. Up on his toes now. Body punches from Wills. Mason took him well. One low one there from Wills that was on the blind side, and another one. The first one very low indeed. Well, if you'd asked a bookmaker to lower the odds against neither man going down in this fight, I think you'd have got very long odds indeed. Minute. And Mason is going to try and finish him off. I'm not sure that's too wise, but that's his choice. I can remember Frank Bruno coming to grief against Bone Crusher Smith, trying the same thing. Last few seconds, and still Mason throwing these sledgehammer blows. And Wills is still on his feet. What a fight that was. What a tremendous battle between two strong heavyweights, and Mason is the winner on points. He maintains his unbeaten record. Signs of protest from the American corner, some booing from the crowd. I wouldn't have thought there could be any conceivable doubt that Mason won it on points. 33 wins now in 33 fights, and does it with an eye cut halfway through the fight and a badly damaged mouth. And full marks too to Mark Wills, who proved such a hard and courageous opponent.
Really terrific fight at Wembley. Looked the right decision to me, and Gary Mason has certainly proved a great deal more about his ability tonight. Whether it's taken him significantly closer to Mike Tyson remains to be seen. We'll bring you the reaction from Wembley a little bit later in the programme. Right now we'll press on, because for the next part of the